What's poppin'? So I kind of want to say excuse me for looking all crazy, but then again I don't. But that's okay because the topic of the situation is crazy, and I mean I feel like if I'm gonna speak on a raw subject and it's kind of one of those raw days for me, I may as well give it to y'all all the way raw. That's what she said. But I mean, like, that's kind of the reason why y'all fuck with me, right? Because I ain't going sugarcoat shit. So today's video is about like mental health awareness. What is it? Who it happens to? Blase blase blah, all that other bullshit. Like, I don't know what's going on with me today, but that's because I got a lot of shit going on. Okay, so for one, I just bailed my baby mom out of jail last night. For two, it is the 2-year anniversary of my brother's death. So yeah. And third, a bitch got cramps. Like, alright, so what is mental illness? Like, what is it? It's like just a fancy term for saying that some people don't think the way other people do. But that's okay. Okay? Like, that's perfectly fine. Because, I mean, if we all thought the same and react to situations the same, then the world would be a real boring place. So, just take your uniqueness and love it. Where does it come from? A whole lot of places. So it can be passed down from generation to generation. It can like just come from the way the chemicals in your body are. You can give it to your damn self because you want to get high off all the wrong shit. Or something can happen to you and it can just like trigger something that'll cause your brain to function differently. Boom. What kinds are there? A hell of a lot. There's actually like a huge book like this big, and it goes through like every single mental disorder somebody can have. And when I say like they got a whole bunch of made up shit, they got a whole bunch of made up shit. Like, there's actually a disease about like temper tantrums. Like, it's called like chronic temper tantrum disorder or something. I don't know, some random shit, but it's just like a person is prone to throwing temper tantrums. Cool. Being as though somebody that has temper tantrums can be labeled as mentally ill, don't always take it as a bad thing. Like, for the most part, it's an insurance thing, and if y'all want me to talk about that, I can, but that's not really what we're here for. All right, so back to like what kinds of mental illnesses there are. There are a whole lot of them: bipolar depression, seasonal affective depression, and PTSD, and borderline personality disorder. Those are the 5 that I have been diagnosed with over the years. Whether or not I actually do have all of them, I have no fucking idea. But again, these are just labels that doctors give us so somebody can sign their checks. Look, okay, what does a mental disorder look like in a person? Absolutely fucking nothing. You can't tell. You really can't be sure, because people walk around looking like Dick, Paul, and Jane, and I mean, you never know. I mean, there's like, let me give y'all some real numbers, but there's at least one person in every group of people, because I ain't got time for this shit. There's at least one person in every single group of people that has some kind of mental illness. Whether they know they have it, whether they don't, or whether they just haven't been exposed to it yet, or it hasn't happened to them yet. And everybody is like, I'm not going to say everybody is expected to, but people usually suffer at least one kind of mental illness at some point in time in their life. And they're not always like lifelong. Sometimes they happen in spurts. Sometimes they happen like at a certain age. Sometimes they hear, then they go away, then they come back. Like, and then sometimes it never happens till you about to die. Like, so you really never know what it looks like in a person. You can't tell. You can't just look at a person and be like, oh, they got a mental illness. Not the only time you can actually do that, I would say, is like if they're in an episode. So what does an episode look like? Y'all gonna hate me. Any fucking thing. You know why? Because every episode is different for every person. Like anxiety. Somebody that has anxiety, they might look anxious or they might look completely calm because they're dying internally. What I look like? First off, who are you talking to right now? I can only speak from my personal experiences. I can't speak from nobody else's viewpoint. When I'm in my episodes, it usually like depends. Sometimes I'm like really on edge and really defensive, and I'm just like ready to hurt somebody. Sometimes I am like energy levels through the roof. Sometimes I am like curled up into a ball and I cannot leave one single spot in my bed. I can't open my eyes. I can't turn on the TV. I can't listen to music. I can't do nothing. What does it feel like? Horrible. Horrible. I won't wish this shit on nobody. But then sometimes you don't even know what's happening. I'll describe this. Every way leads to my sudden death. Like, all right. Sometimes I feel like no matter what I do, I can only do something wrong. So at that point, my only option is to stay inside of the center and like just do nothing and sulk in my emotion, whatever that emotion is. Whether that emotion is me being sad and I gotta sit there and cry, or whether that emotion is me being angry and I gotta break shit and set shit on fire. What else does it feel like? Sometimes it feels like everything. Like, all right, sometimes it feels like I can feel everything happening around me. Like, I can feel my entire environment and like on and inside of my body. Like, so sometimes I can feel the wind I can feel the wind moving even if there isn't a breeze. I can feel somebody's voice resonating off of my skin. I can feel the clothes on my back. I can feel every strand of hair touching me. It's like my skin is so sensitive. And it's like, I don't even want to think about it. All right. What else does it feel like for me? Sometimes it just feels like a dream. So what I mean by that is, so I have a tendency to dissociate, and I don't know why. Well, I'm kind of figuring out why, but usually it's like if I get really high in my emotions, whatever emotion that is, I'm really angry, or if I'm like really sad, sometimes something just like clicks and I don't know what happens. I don't know why, I don't know when, I don't know how it happens, but there's like a light switch and my consciousness goes off and my body puts itself on autopilot. And I mean, sometimes things work out perfectly fine and my body tells me to do stuff that keeps me safe, and sometimes my body goes into autopilot and makes me do things to hurt myself or other people. And it just feels like a dream sometimes. Sometimes I just like wake up, whether that's physically waking up out of my sleep or whether something happens and I'm finally conscious of where I am. The fuck was I saying? Oh, waking up. It was like sometimes I just literally physically wake up out of my sleep. Sometimes something happens and I just become conscious and aware of what's going on around me. And at that point, I usually have a huge headache, like right here. Oh, it's the worst. It'd be like, just like throbbing. Feels like a really vivid dream, the parts that I actually can remember. And I often don't remember every single time it happens. I wake up and I go through my phone, check my call log, check my text messages, check my social media. Because like I said, to the world, I'm functioning fully normally and fully properly. Like whether my emotion, I don't know where, like I said, I don't know what happened. So it's like whether my emotions are really high, whether they're really low, whether I'm acting reckless or whether I'm just really, really calm, I never know. But the people around me never seem to notice. And it's usually just like they have all these, like they have a full recollection of what the fuck happened. And I'm just like, oh, really? That happened? I said that? I did that? Let's It's horrible. It's really horrible. I'm still like trying to figure out a way to control that. Oh my god. So at the end of this, we're gonna go story time with Savage with how I woke up in New York City. That shit was wild. Oh my god, y'all don't know how many times I dissociated and either ended up in Philly or in New York City and was just like, all right. So that's what it feels like. Coping. Coping. All right. So coping. How you deal with this shit? How do you deal with this shit, and how should you deal with this shit? Unhealthy coping mechanisms. Boom.
Yeah, I'd rather be a lover than a fighter. Cause all my life I've been fighting.
Healthy coping mechanisms. Bam, said it. Change your environment. Seriously. The best thing that you can do if you are suffering from any mental illness is to change the things around you and do your best to stay out of situations that you know are going to trigger whatever the fuck you got going on. Personality types. Same like changing your environment. Know the kind of people that trigger your shit and stay away from them. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really, really hard because sometimes they're the people that you love and care about the most. And stress relieving exercises. So, me, I count shapes. So, I scan the room, find a shape that I see like very often. I count rectangles a lot. Match the shapes. Choose one shape. Let's stick with rectangles. If I chose a rectangle right now, I would be like my TV, the shelf, my closet, the door. Get it? So choose a shape, match the shapes, name the shapes. Singing. Pick a song, hum it. Maybe you don't gotta sing. Music. Period. Whether you gotta sing it, whether you gotta dance to it, just listen to it, write it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, and then touch them. 2 things you can smell, and then 1 deep breath. And therapy. I know y'all gonna hate it. Like I know y'all don't want me to say it, but yeah, therapy. But there's different types of therapy as well. You've got inpatient therapy versus outpatient therapy. I actually have experiences with both. If y'all want another story time with Savage, I can actually drop my stories at the crazy house because they are mad insane. And outpatient therapies. So outpatient therapies can consist of like group therapy, a personal psychiatrist, and a whole lot of other stuff. Medication. Personally, I don't like the shit. So, my doctors had me all like robotic off of mood stabilizers. What it is basically like a regimen to where, well, there's a whole bunch of them. Like, there's a whole lot of them. Alright, so, you like pop 1 or 2 or 6 a day, depending. That's what it feel like. Depending on like what you're taking and how it requires. But I personally don't like it because it was like in order for me to take my medication, I had to, like, 1, I had to take it at a specific time every single day, like at a specific time every single day. 2, I had to eat a certain amount of food with it, and if I didn't, then I couldn't take it, or because it wouldn't work right, or I would have like these really bad side effects. And then like what the medication itself actually did to me was it made me feel like this. Like, that's dead ass what it did to me. Like, I was like this all day. Then randomly, whenever the drugs decided that it was my bedtime, I would just pass the fuck out. No matter where the fuck I was, what I was doing. Like, there have been times where I fell asleep in the middle of a party because the drug said it was time for me to go to sleep. Like, what? No. Oh, and then it's like, if you skip a dose, oh my God, if you skip a dose, the side effects is deadly. Like, oh my. Alright, so, Thanksgiving, I had a performance with the Delaware Contemporary Dance Theater, and we were in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So I was a little elf. I was fucking it up inside the elf costume. Dig this. First off, I'm claustrophobic. So the first time I put on that fucking costume, I was just like, oh shit, I got this big ass head on me. I can't see out the eyes because the eyes in the costume is up here, but my head all the way down here. Like, my arms long as fuck, but the arms inside the costume is dead ass like this. So I really gotta do all of this just to fucking move. Like, I can't do nothing. I can't pick up my feet. Like, what the hell happened before I got inside that costume? Why the hell did I end up skipping the dosage? I don't know how I ended up skipping the dosage, but I ended up skipping the dosage the night before the motherfucking parade. And do you know what happened? Alright, so the whole time I'm inside the costume, right, I'm nauseous as fuck. Like, my stomach's churning. I feel like I gotta throw up. I'm already, like, my anxiety already getting me because I'm inside that, like, that tight ass suit and I can't do shit. My stomach's turning because I forgot to take the medication. So it's like my stomach's bubbling. I feel like I gotta throw up. I'm dizzy. My heart's pounding. I'm having hot flashes. Oh my God. Then it's just like, all right. So yeah, when you skip a dose, you end up going through the withdrawal symptoms, and that shit start happening. Then it's just like, I'm the kind of person, like, y'all see my personality, so y'all know me just being like this all fucking day wasn't cutting it. So I mean, I took myself off the shit sometimes because I felt like having fun, and I'm just like, I miss being fun, so I'm gonna get off my pills. Pill party, dump them all in the toilet. Then you gotta try a whole lot of shit before you find the right medication cocktail that works for you. Like, and actual, like, psychotherapy actually kind of sort of helps, because I have, clearly y'all see, I got a psychotherapist. His name is Dr. Eyes. He blind, he can't see nothing. It's kind of cool because, like, when I'm in therapy, it's like we just talk about everything that goes on, and in discussing that, I'm like figuring out the things that are causing me to be the way that I am, and it's allowing me to do what I have to do to make those environmental changes and XYZ and all that other stuff. So I mean, it does actually help. It takes a long ass time to help, but it does. And then there's this thing called instant remission. So instant remission is a phenomena where, like, you could be like all depressed or all in your PTSD or all in your and then one day you just wake up and everything is fine. Out of nowhere. You did absolutely nothing to fix it. One day you just woke up and everything was better. And last but not least, because I gotta wrap this up, I got a movie date with Slim. Being a friend of somebody with a mental illness. First things first, you have to be aware. Know that your friend has this mental illness and do your best to know what sets them off and what triggers them, so that you can know when it's happening and you can, like, do what you, like, whatever you can to help them. Don't tell them they're overreacting. That is the worst thing you can do. Because no matter what their mental illness is, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter how motherfucking microscopic that issue is, whatever it is that is triggering that illness, it feels like the end of the fucking world to your friend. So never tell them that they're overreacting, because to them it's life or death. Knowing the signs. Again, Being able to tell when your friend is beginning to enter that state. Knowing what helps them. So, for example, I told y'all, like, I count shapes, I match objects, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. If my friends know that those are the things that I do to calm myself down, then they'll be like, hey Savage, how many rectangles you see? What song you feel like hearing? Like, they'll help me through it. And most importantly, just be yourself.
Definitely the good fucking hair. You hear me? The good fucking, it might not be mine, but it's good hair. Do you fucking feel me?
Shut up, TikTok.
I think too much and I hate it. I'm so used to being in the
Now we have to figure out how to get from here over to there to the second. Got it. Now hopefully it's another U-turn.
Another illegal U-turn, everybody?
Another illegal U-turn.
Being yourself is the absolute best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I managed to cover everything in this video. Guys, I'm sorry it's a little lengthy. Well, then again, all of my videos are kind of long. But yeah, I felt like this one was very informative. So if you have questions, drop them below. If you want story time with Savage, nut house stories, then comment below and ask me what happened when I was in a nut house. Alright, so listen. Before we go, I promised y'all a story about how I woke up in New York. I don't know how much you guys pay attention to my Insta Snap, but I always tell y'all, like, pay attention to my Insta Snap because, like, you can see the shit happening that I'm telling y'all about. A couple months ago, I ran into some bullshit with my phone. What happened first? Okay, so it actually goes back a little bit further than 3 months ago. So back in November, I flew to fucking California to be a thought for a little bit, whatever. But upon my return, I had found out that my sister, for some strange reason, had put a password on the account, so I no longer had access to our cell phone account. So in order for me to pay my bill, I gotta jump through fucking hoops and all the other bullshit. Okay, cool. Then but I really ain't give a fuck about that. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm still gonna pay the bill. Then shortly after that, like, some bitch started just like playing on my phone, like, all the time, calling. And it's like I couldn't block the number because it was just like she was always calling me from texting apps or whatever. So all right, cool. So now I'm like, I need a new phone number. So I'm asking my sister, like, can I have a password to the account so I can change my phone number because somebody playing on my phone. She ignoring me, not like just ignoring me. So then I asked my niece, and I'm like, AOE, do you got the password to the account? Cause I'm trying to change my my phone number. She like, no, let me ask my mom. She asked her mom. Go to some more bullshit. All right, whatever. You know what? So I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to like stop answering the phone for numbers that I don't know. Then what the fuck happened? What was my final straw? I don't remember what my final straw was with not having the password to the phone, but I had one more final straw. And at that final straw, I hit my sister up like, why can't you just give me the password so I can pay this shit off and be done? So I'm like, you know what? Fine. You don't want to give me the password to do nothing, so I'm not going to do nothing with the phone. I'm not going to pay the bill. I'm not going to do shit. I bought another phone. So I had 2 phones. One of them of which I was paying the bill for, and one of them of which I wasn't, but I didn't give a fuck about because the second it got cut off, whatever, I got another phone. Promise me, I'm getting to New York. Alright, now, fast forward to a couple days ago. The 4th of July, actually. Fast forward to the 4th of July. I wake up in the morning, and my sister's like, good morning, do you think you could pay the phone bill? Actually, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna just show y'all.
I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one. And I've been quiet for too long.
Alright, so that happened. And I'm just sitting here like, when I wanted to pay the phone off, you wanted to be petty. Like, so now, I mean, we here. So I got mad. Now, you know how back earlier in the video, I said when I have very extreme emotions, something happens. Alright, so I got mad. Because I'm sitting here like, I did my best to avoid this situation. Like, I did. 3 to 7 months ago, I asked you if I had a password so I can come off your account. You ain't want to give it to me. Now, here you are. Now, you actually just like, oh, well, give me this or da-da-da-da. Nope, you can't have shit. So, and I'm just sitting here like, I'm pissed the fuck off because now I'm going to sit here and be made out to be the bad guy because I tried to avoid this shit and now you realizing that it's biting, that you being a smart ass is biting you in the ass, and that ain't my fucking problem. I tried to avoid the situation. Like, I tried to play nice first. So I'm like, you know what? You're getting mad. You're getting mad. We're gonna take a walk. We're gonna calm down. I'm taking a walk. I'm calming down. Next thing I know, I am getting off of a bus at 27th and 7th, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, when did I make this decision to come to New York? When did I purchase a ticket to come to New York? When did I board this bus to come to New York? So, alright, I realized that I was in New York City or whatever, and I'm like, alright, well, I have no idea where I'm going, so let me check out my social media. Let me see who the fuck I've been talking to. I done, like, talked to somebody that I was thinking about, like, moving up to New York City with, and met up with her, and then, I mean, from there, it was a blast. Like, from there, from the meetup on, I remember everything. Do I remember everything? I think I remember everything. I don't know. I ain't hear no wild and crazy stories about something that I did that I don't remember. So, to my knowledge, I remember everything. But how I actually got there, why, when it happened, I don't know. I ended up pretty safe, and I had a good time. That's all that matters. But I don't know how the hell I ended up in New York City when I made that decision. How I don't know. Only thing I know is one second I was like, whoo, so we gonna take a break. We're gonna take a breather. We're gonna take a walk. And the next thing I know, I'm getting off the bus at 27th Avenue. I'm at 27th Street and 7th Avenue. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I said today is one of those days for me. And it's also, like, been a rough time for Slim. So she and we are going to enjoy each other's company in silence watching a movie so that neither one of us has to be alone today, but we still kind of sort of just want to not think about the things that are actually wrong. So, you know, it's very easy to be a friend to somebody with mental illness or somebody that's just going through something. It's very easy to be a friend to somebody. Ooh, yeah.